Every single year in the NBA draft, no matter what year you look at, you can look back on it and say, how the hell did that guy fall as far as he did? And it literally happens every year. You look at 2021, you have guys like Herb Jones, Cameron Thomas, and Franz Wagner. Like, those are just three very, very easy examples to give right off the bat. And there's so many of these guys pretty much in every single year's draft class, from undrafted free agents to second round picks to late first round picks. They always end up finding a few diamonds in the rough no matter what. And that is what makes the NBA draft so exciting to look at, because there can always be someone stealing somebody somewhere, and you never really know what's going to happen, so people want to watch it all the way through. At least that's the allure for me, and last year's draft was no different either, as there's been, in my opinion, a few very, very big draft steals that not a lot of people are talking about. I'm going to be talking about the top 5 of them in the 2022 NBA draft. And now the first player I want to get into is going to be Jalen Williams. He's probably the most obvious one, let's be honest. Everybody knew he was going to be in this video if you follow the NBA in any facet, shape, or form. But the Oklahoma City absolutely hit it out of the park when they picked him. Sam Presti is built different with this pick. He was their second pick in the lottery in Chet Holmgren, and he is the highest pick in this draft for sure. I mean, in this list for sure, but I definitely think Jalen Williams deserves to be on here. Like, no one expected that. At the time, they actually were seeing him as a reach kind of to pick him that high, but he has been everything and more. He's going to be an all-rookie first team, hands down, no matter what. And I mean, the past 15 games, he has really been playing at almost an all-star level, averaging 19.9 points per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, 4.4 assists per game, 2.2 steals per game on 56% shooting from the field and 46% shooting from the three-point line to go along with 87% from the free throw line. And the reason that is so impressive, yes, he's averaging almost 20, 5 and 4, and he's playing very good defense at 2 steals a game, but that efficiency is usually the last thing to come for a rookie, especially a rookie picked late in the lottery. But that has not been a problem for Jalen Williams, and he has developed a ton since the beginning of this year. I'm pretty sure he leads all the rookies in dunks as well. Take that how you will. And he's just an extremely good player. His ceiling is through the roof. He's extremely talented, and I think he's going to be a starter on this Oklahoma City Thunder team for a very, very long time. And once they get Chet Holmgren healthy, I mean, they legitimately could have a big 3 of 3 all-star level players if Chet can develop how people think he can develop, and if Jalen Williams continues on this trajectory. I think for sure that they could legit have a big 3 going into the future that could be extremely good and be able to grow together, as they are on very similar timelines career-wise. And the second draft steal on the list is going to be another very obvious one, and that is going to be Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler is another guy that's going to 100% be on an all-rookie first team. He's been one of the best, if not the best, rim protector in the entire NBA, and by the way, like I said, he's only a rookie, which is extremely impressive. He's an elite rebounder as well, and I mean, he has been perfect for what the Utah Jazz needed, and a huge reason why he's such a steal is because the Utah Jazz actually did not pick Walker Kessler. The Minnesota Timberwolves did, but of course, Minnesota being Minnesota, they can't stop themselves from just doing something dumb. They just have to press the red button no matter what. They can't just leave it as it is. So what did Minnesota do? They basically traded younger, way cheaper Rudy Gobert and a lot of first round picks and a lot of role players for older, more expensive Rudy Gobert. That's basically what that trade ended up being, and it really hasn't worked out for them at all. Now, yes, they are a playoff team technically right now, but they're still going to have to go through a play-in game, and now Anthony Edwards is hurt, so no telling. So the Minnesota Timberwolves just can't stop themselves from shooting themselves in the foot, and the Utah Jazz were able to get probably one of the biggest steals of this entire draft. They're going to have a rim protector for years and years to come on a rookie deal who's an elite rebounder, and his offense is already much higher level than people expected coming in to the draft. Now, I was a guy that was actually higher than most on Walker Kessler, but I was nowhere near this high on him. I didn't think he would be this good this quick. I knew he was going to be good in the NBA, but I think he was going to be this good this quick? Absolutely not. And he's actually had games where he's scoring like 20 points, which I could not have predicted at all. I knew he had touch around the rim. I knew he tried to shoot threes in college at times, and he's even shot, I think, like 2 or 3 this year. So I mean, like, that's not out of the question that he adds that to his game, but I thought it was going to be a few years down the line, not him averaging, I think, around 8 to 10 points a game right now, along with being an elite rebounder and elite rim protector. That's very hard to find and extremely valuable, and that is exactly what the Utah Jazz were able to do, and he is just making that trade look like an absolute just thievery from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And for sure, Walker Kessler is at least the second biggest steal in this NBA draft class. And now the third player on the list, we got Jaden Hardy with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, to start the draft process of 2022, if you were looking at mock drafts and like just scouting players that early, you would know Jaden Hardy was projected to be a top 10 pick in that year's draft class. Like, he was supposed to be that dude in that class. Now, he had a very lackluster G League season with them. He kind of fell down boards a lot, and that is why he ended up going all the way to, I think, the 31st pick with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I was not high on Jaden Hardy to go in the first round, but the fact that the Dallas Mavericks were able to get him in the second round, I really did like that pick because he still had a very high ceiling, and he was just overall definitely had potential to be a very, very good player, and that potential is 100% coming through, as he has already developed way faster, way more on pace than anyone could have expected, as in the 36 total games that he has played this season, only 7 of them he has gotten 20 plus minutes this year, and he still has 5 games where he scored at least 20 points or more, despite not getting that many minutes at all. And he also has a game against Memphis where he was able to put up 28 points, which is currently his career high. So he is an extremely good player. Now, although his consistency is still a little bit to be desired, and his 3-point percentage isn't already there, and his field goal percentage can also leave things to be desired, he has shown all the potential in the world to be a very good player, and that was a second round pick. So I don't think it's very hard to say that he was not a steal of the draft. Like, he has been able to start a few games for them when like Kyrie and Luka have been out. He's been able to be a good role player when they needed him, and he's also been going off in the G League when they put him down there as well. So I think overall Jaden Hardy is going to eventually be an extremely solid role player for the Dallas Mavericks, and they were able to get him all the way in the early 30s of the draft, which is always impressive to do. And now the fourth guy is going to probably be one of the most unknown guys on the list, and that's going to be Malachi Branham to the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Branham had a little bit of a slower start to his season, mainly because he was starting in the G League more, but he was still playing very, very good there. But so far in the second half of the season, he has really started to kick things up, as in the last 16 games, he is averaging 14.4 points per game, 2.6 assists per game, 4.1 rebounds per game on 49% shooting from the field, 36% shooting from the 3, and 81% shooting from the free throw line. And that's just all around been a very, very high level player. He's been their starting level small forward for basically the entire second half of the season, and he has just played extremely good, and he has been a great addition to this already very young core they are building in the San Antonio Spurs. And really, the Spurs are just one of the best drafting teams in general, where they have Devin Vassell, who's been very, very good and very underrated, Keldon Johnson, Malachi Branham, Jeremy Sochan. So they really have been a very good drafting team over the past few years, and that is going to be probably how they build and have success going into the future, and Branham should be a fairly big part of that going forward. And the final guy on the list is going to be Andrew Nembhard. Now, Andrew Nembhard has been extremely solid for the Indiana Pacers this year. He has basically started the entire year, and anytime a second round pick can start the entire year, that is going to be an extremely good pick for a second round pick, because a lot of those guys don't even make the roster, and Nembhard has been a starter for them for a very long time. Now, he hasn't been anything special, but he's just been extremely solid doing anything you ask him to do, averaging 8.5 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game on 4 assists per game, and he is just one of those guys that's not going to shy away from the moment. You don't have to worry about him really losing you a game, and that is extremely valuable for a guy that is only a rookie. And he's also had very good moments. He's hit a game winner against the Lakers, and has just overall been extremely good for them, and should be a fairly big piece of their team as a role player for years and years to come on a very cheap deal. And really, right before I do end the video, I want to go over some honorable mentions that just I think weren't going to make the list, but do deserve to be mentioned here. And I'm going to butcher this first guy's name, Ochai Agbaji. I was high on him coming into the draft. I liked him, and he's been playing very well in the games that he's gotten to play. He's really getting more minutes at the end of the season with the Jazz, and he's been extremely solid for them. AJ Griffin has been very good as well. He kind of fell off a little bit midway through, but he's still an extremely solid scorer that should be able to build upon that going forward. And then the last guy is going to be the Houston Rockets' Tari Eason, a very good two-way level player, and he's, I think, going to be an extremely high-level role player due to his athleticism, his defensive ability, and as his offense gets even better, I think Tari Eason should be an extremely good pick for the Houston Rockets as well. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video, so comment below. Do you think I missed anyone? Do you think there should have been anyone else added to the list? Do you think the list was fine? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like my point, hit the like button and subscribe button in the absolute word. I mean, I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.